Welcome back, everybody. This week, Brian's back with us again. How you doing, Brian?
Last I checked, Philip, doing awesome. Thank you.
Great. We are here to address some of the questions in the group today. Brian's going to help us out with that, as usual.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Right. I just want to say in advance, I have been helping people keep, and maximize their disability benefits with folks like you and others here at the Disability Digest since 2006, and this group has got some awesome questions in it. So I look forward to working with you to get those addressed.
All right. So let's get started here with some of the questions. I know your time is short today, so we'll make it as quick as possible to get you in and out of here. Maybe take some questions if some people want to chime in. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to ask some questions, just go to the chat. We'll try to get to them here towards the end. So, all right, let's get started, Brian. You want to address some of the...
Sure, I do. I'm going to share my screen for everybody out there. And as you had mentioned, as we were getting ready for the show here today, is to spend some time on insurance, right? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the lack of insurance that people have when they're going through the approval process, but you can get insurance through the exchange, COBRA, spouse's insurance. It's really important to get set up if you know you're going to go through the process to get insurance, because if you don't, what happens, Philip?
If you don't get insurance when you are first approved, it could cost you in the long run a penalty.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, what I'm talking about is people that go into the disability approval process and they're not insured. And that's going to have an impact on their treatment, right?
Yeah, certainly, and their ability to be able to get approved.
Right.
If they're not into treatment.
Right. So I'm gonna fine, and there's low cost, no cost clinics. There's a bunch of resources. That's the work that Philip does here in the group, as well as at the Disability Digest. And by the way, I encourage everybody, if you find value in this group, give Philip a shout out. This is a total 100% volunteer effort that he's doing here. And it takes time because there's a lot of you with a lot of questions. So if you like the work he does, give him a thanks. I'm going to put on my screen here a disability award letter. And this is a generic one that I've made generic. And this, if you're not approved, this is your ultimate goal, is to get one of these. It'll say notice of award up here. And that's what you want. This is if you get approved at the initial or the reconsideration. You'll receive an award like this. Be slightly different if you get approved at the hearing. But what you're looking for to determine your insurance eligibility is this top line that is in red text. And this one reads, you're entitled to monthly disability benefits beginning May of 2021. So your Medicare, you're eligible 24 months from this date. So you could receive an award letter that found that you became disabled, which is the next one down, said that you became disabled. It could be 18 months ago, right? But the date that you were disabled is 5 months before the date that you are entitled, because there's a 5-month waiting period. So to really simplify it, just look at this and it's 24 months. And you should start planning on your insurance move about 5 months ahead. Really, it's what we encourage people to do. So you can consider your doctors, your medications, the different plan options, the conditions that you have, the location that you're in, really what your treatment needs are. Those are all the factors that go into making a successful, educated, not all of them, but most of them, decision about your healthcare. So, and if you need assistance with that, you can get a benefit review. You can reach out to Philip in the group. He can give you some advice and help you with that decision. And of course, this group is no charge, same as the Disability Digest, so you can get some help with that. Philip, was there anything else on the insurance piece that I may have missed? Like
when from the time you're approved, there's some questions about that when you're eligible for your benefits from the time you're approved. How do you determine that date for Medicare coverage?
Okay, I want to make sure I understand this. So, like in looking at this award letter, if I'm understanding your question correctly, it would be 24 months from May 2021.
Okay.
So it would be May of 2023.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so people need to find a solution, not only through the approval process, but until their Medicare kicks in. I don't know why they do this. But
yeah. Okay.
All right. So shall we come on up here? Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay. I got approved for Medicaid because I was going through and getting approved for disability. I just recently got denied. I'm filing an appeal. Is that worthy of discussion?
Sure. I believe
Well,
so.
I was hoping you'd say no, because I really don't understand it. Moving forward, I'm filing an appeal. I think this is more of a statement if I should get denied. So this person was denied Medicaid. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's resources that you have. And they really they go right through your finances. So it could be that Melinda likely has too many resources.
I'm wondering if they're asking if they are denied for the Medicaid, if they're applying for both Social Security or SSDI and SSI and they're denied the Medicaid coverage, could it affect the decision for Social Security disability insurance?
Yeah, I mean, it could if they were denied Medicaid and there was a medical eligibility component to it. Yeah, that could. But if it was for financial resources, no, it wouldn't. And the letter would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Brings up another question I had or come across in the group this week is if you're working, let me see how I can phrase this without confusing it. When you're applying, if you're still working, it's one thing to stop working and you wait a certain amount of time to file, because it's going to affect the time that you do not file is going to affect when you do file your overall benefit amount, correct? Because you're not paying into your taxes. So the longer you wait to file, it's going to affect your overall benefit amount when you do file.
Yeah, if we're talking years, yes. If we're talking months or days, no, not really.
But say you stop working or you stop working full-time and you just work part-time, that can also affect overall, correct?
Yeah, that's a great point. So let's just go through an example of that.
Yeah.
This commonly happens. Somebody has a job where they're earning, say, $80,000 a year, right? They're
Yeah.
not able to do that job. So they transition into a lower paying job at $40,000 a year. So the taxes that you pay on $40,000 a year is going to be less than 80. And so that's going to have an impact on your Social Security disability amount. It's called decompensation. And when it gets lower than that, Philip, I've been through situations with people where they're working and they're earning, $1,900 a month, and it's preventing them from applying for disability. And when you do the math on it, they have a check that's maybe $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
So if they stopped or reduced it down to like the hobby amount of like $300-400 a month, got approved, got their $2,000 check, then they went back up to like $800 or $900 a month, they're going to be better off and healthier, hopefully. So that's a really good point.
So what you're saying, if I understand this correctly, if I'm earning $80,000 a year and I get sick or accident, I want to file for disability, but I can't afford to stop working all the way, so I just reduce my hours back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm earning less, so I'm paying less in taxes.
Yeah.
So when I am approved, that could affect my overall benefit amount. Instead of getting a $2,500 check a month, it may be reduced to $1,800 a month check.
You got it. Exactly.
Okay. I have to.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy way that for me to get my head around it is this program and the check amount is based on it's like paying into a fund. It is paying into a fund.
Yeah.
And the amount that you pay in is relative to the amount that you can get paid out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That answered one question this week.
Take a look at this one, Philip.
Let me focus on it. Oh, were they? That was a Medicare one where they deducted for the Part B.
Yep.
So how do you deal with that? I mean, calling Social Security payment office is one thing, but that has to do with Medicare, which is going to be a different story.
So on your award letter, it will clearly say if you have a question about the award and how it was handled, where to send your information. And what the process is that we've found that's worked is something in writing, write a statement. And we just had somebody within the last 2 weeks in Texas that this happened to. So they took 8 months, I think it was 8 months. It was like $1,400 out of his back pay to pay for Medicare Part B premiums. And he just got the award letter. And, as a result, just got approved and wasn't able to get enrolled in Medicare. So we write a letter, say, okay, you overcharged for these months, this amount of money has been taken. Promptly return this information, these monies. So you put it in writing, you send it in, and you follow up, and you ask for a time frame. If you don't get it returned in like 30 or 60 days, which they're usually pretty good about this, then you can start like an escalation process. And the escalation process would be contact your local government representative and just say, I got approved for disability. This is what happened to me. I'm not able to get Social Security return or respond to any of my inquiries, and they'll do it. I had I'll just share this with you. I've talked about this before. I am in the land of Bernie Sanders, and I use him because he's the most responsive agency. And I sent an inquiry in last night at well, it's probably between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. And I got a response back this morning that they had already acted on it. So some of these congressmen and women, their organizations are better functioning than others. But think about it this way, it's their way to monitor the system. It's their way to get votes. I'm out here mentioning Bernie Sanders because he does a good job. Regardless of your political affiliation, they get it done. They've helped me in several things. So little offshoot there, but that's how you'd get that one resolved.
There was something I was going to ask you about. Somebody had mentioned this week that should they be delivering, and I think we've addressed this before last week, maybe the week before, should they be delivering personal medical records directly to their Social Security office? Do they need to, if they have representation, do they need to be taking that directly to Social Security and trying to have it documented into their record file?
This is my position on that. I don't do that for, you know, for the cases that we work on. We have tried that, allowed that, but we don't, because what I've found is it can confuse the situation. So when somebody goes through the process and submits their application, they provide their doctors to Social Security, and it's Social Security's responsibility to request the medical records from the doctors and get those in the case file. And if you use a representative, they are able to see that if you have 5 doctors, all 5 are there, or maybe it's only 4, and what the medical records is. But when you physically bring it in, it's like playing that telephone game, right? Yeah. Maybe all of your records that you brought in get scanned in, or maybe you're bringing all the records. I don't know, but what we found is that not all the records were getting into the file, and it was causing breaks in the evidence. So my personal opinion is I don't encourage that. Now, the exception to that would be if Social Security only requested 24 months of medical records, and there was something that happened 5 years ago that will significantly influence the whole thing, and you have that evidence and they don't have access to it. That's a different situation, right?
Yeah.
Or if there's evidence that you're providing that you can put in the file, like videos or doctor support records or third-party references, all of those things, fine. But that's different than the medical records.
Yeah.
I feel is important.
All right, go ahead.
This is Rob D up here. And it reads, I had to reduce the hours on my job to part-time due to having congestive heart failure, and I got denied Social Security this week. They told me I could do gainful activity. He put gainful financial activity, but it's gainful activity. So
gainful activity.
With Social Security, you are allowed to apply for your disability benefits and be working and earning up to $1,470 a month, and as long as you're below 20 hours a week. But when you're working, it allows Social Security to really look at your situation and say, well, if you had reasonable accommodations or a different job or anything like that, then you could work. So it's really catch-22 situation. Financially, people need to survive. But ultimately, if your income, and this is just a very general statement, if your income is like anywhere over $500 a month, even if you're in your 50s, it's just really hard to get approved right now. Actually, for a long time, it's been like that.
Yeah.
So.
All right.